All right, clap it up. Clap it up. There, let's clap it up. All right, all right. We're here for another history class. History class. You know, and we're gonna go through this class today. Class today is about America and America's propaganda, America's keys to success for America. Is their propaganda, the things that they use against us to coerce us to do the things that they want us to do, that America wants us to do. America wants us to be great and good and great Americans. You understand? America wants us in their military. America wants us fighting on their side, regardless of what the situation is. You understand? And the propaganda that they use is what causes us to be with America. America uses propaganda, symbols, and sayings to keep us where they want us at. You understand? What's the first thing that America uses on us as children? Say that again, sis. Man, sis hit that. Sis hit that right on the money. The Pledge of Allegiance. Think about it, right? We always bring this up because we want to instill this in our people to understand all of these sayings are things that create and make us into Americans. You understand? Think about it. I pledge allegiance. When you pledge allegiance, what do? You pledge your loyalty. You understand? You pledge your undying loyalty. I pledge allegiance to a flag. So if you pledge your allegiance to a flag, what do? You take your allegiance away. If that flag does not represent you, you take your allegiance away from the people that you do represent and put it on the people that you don't represent. I pledge allegiance to a flag. So you taking your allegiance away from your people and putting it with the people who don't truly represent us. You understand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. And think about it, right? If the United States was really united, every law that the United States has would be represented in every state. Laws would not change from state to state. We believe that the United States is united when it is not. Laws change from state to state, just like they say, well, if you're in this state, that law does not apply. If you're in this state, you can't do this, but in this state, you can. You understand? And this is the propaganda that we fall for, being in a country that is not truly for us. Understand that our oppressor does what he wants in any state. Those laws that are created are really truly created for us to keep us in a chokehold. You understand what I'm saying? If it were not true, they would have never created black codes. You understand? Codes specifically for us. Codes specifically so we could not get up. You understand? Everybody saw in the 1920s. What happened in the 1920s? Think about it. Right after the Reconstruction, 1963, 1965, Reconstruction, so-called slaves are freed, right? What they do, sis? They did the Jim Crow laws too. But remember, the first thing that they did was what? Emancipated. What does it mean to be emancipated? Say that again. To be free from what?
That's what I thought it meant.
Listen, think about it, right? They have it in our minds that, and this is propaganda, right? They have it in our minds that we are being freed from slavery, right? But when you free someone from slavery and then you create a law to put them back in slavery, what is that? It's propaganda. Think about it. The 13th Amendment, right, says you are freed unless you commit a crime. Then sis just said it, right? They created what, sis? Jim Crow laws and the black codes. So now if I see you and I pull you up and I say, do you have ID? And you don't have ID, now I can place you back in slavery. I can lock you up. Now you're in legal bondage. You're in legal slavery again. This is what they do to us today. You understand what I'm saying? They create conditions. They create conditions for us to do certain things so that they can put us back into slavery. This is the reason why all of these privatized prisons are popping up today. You understand? Because they have created laws and created conditions for us to fall into and fall victim to so that they can put us back into slavery. Think about this, right? Another thing that they did, and I talked about this a while ago. We celebrate, think about it, right? We celebrate Labor Day. Why do we celebrate Labor Day? Somebody tell me, why do we celebrate Labor Day?
I never did. I thought it was just a day off of work. That's what I thought it was.
It's a day off of work. Listen, it's nothing wrong with that, though. It's nothing wrong with taking a day off of work. It's nothing wrong with taking a day away from your oppressor. But we have to understand what we're celebrating. Because when we go out and we celebrate Labor Day with the oppressor, we're celebrating our own destruction. Remember this, after the Reconstruction in 1865, the so-called slaves were freed, right? In 1865, all of the artisan workers, meaning all of the skilled workers, all of the professional workers were who?
The slaves, the former slaves.
Slaves. Slaves, right? All of your professional bricklayers, all of your professional plumbers, all of electricians, different thing, carpentry, all of this work was done by slaves. So they were considered the artisans, right? So what happened was from 1865, 65, 70, 72, in 1870, between 1870 and 1872, they created what?
HBCUs.
No. HBCUs were created before that.
Was it a law, like if you were?
Kind of like a law.
It was,
Is it, I was watching a movie, is it like, if you had to go further, like up to Canada, if you was a slave, they could come and take you back or something like that?
Nope, we're gonna stay right here in America, right?
So my Vegas and Black Coast.
We hit that already. What they created in 1870 was they created the labor union. Labor unions were created to box out the artisan workers, the professional skilled slave workers. In 1870, they created the labor unions and made the labor unions all white. You had to be white to get into it. In order to work in the city that you were in, you had to be in a union. If you were not in a union, you could not do carpentry. You could not do plumbing. You could not build. You could not bricklay. You couldn't do masonry. They created these laws to keep us stagnant, to keep us right where they were. This is propaganda. This is psychological warfare. So now what happens? Think about this, right? 1870, what happens if you can't do plumbing, or if you can't do masonry, or if you can't do carpentry? What do?
Sharecropper.
No.
Like start committing crime.
There you go. So now in 1865, they created what? The 13th Amendment, so that if you committed that crime, they could do what? Enslave you again and have you working for free. No sharecropper job. You picking them crops for real.
Is that where the chain gangs came from?
That's where the chain gangs came from, and that's where the chain gangs are still at. You go down to Alabama, you go down to the Deep South, they still got chain gangs. You understand? I just watched the show the other night. They had two guys, I believe it was in Louisiana. They stole their property from them. And then they turned around and said they were trespassing on private property, which at the most you get 3 days in jail. They had these two brothers in jail for 8 years. 8 years. Stole their property. They had all kinds of fraudulent paperwork. Now think about it, right? I'm gonna tell you how evil America is with propaganda, with psychological warfare, and with the things that they do. On this show, they told you that this state had all kinds of fraudulent paperwork, and they still took these brothers' property. Knowing, you understand? Look at who we're living under. We believe every time we go out and we vote, you're putting your faith in the very people that are here to destroy us. You understand what I'm saying? We putting our faith, and that's like getting robbed and going to the person who robbed you for justice. How does it work? How does it work? Sis, me and you just talked coming up the steps, right? And everything that you're going through. And think about who we going to get justice from. You understand what I'm saying?
And who's not helping.
And who's not helping. The very people who that caused it, not only that, the very people that we pledge our allegiance to. See, we get so caught up in America. We get caught up so much in the sayings and everything that America, God bless America. You understand what I'm saying? Think about this, right? I'm going to show you some more propaganda, right? I'm going to show you some more propaganda, some propaganda that had us all sky high. Remember that dream team? Remember the first dream team? Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, all of them, Magic Johnson, all of them. Who in here wasn't proud to be an American?
Say again, who what?
Who wasn't proud to be an American at that time? I ate that propaganda. USA. You understand what I'm saying? We chanted that. All the way to McDonald's to get them free burgers and all that food with them little stickers in there. Remember the little stickers you buy at McDonald's, you pull the thing off and you win something. They get a gold medal here. You win. Remember that? You remember that, sister? Y'all remember that? Listen, all the way to McDonald's, I chanted, "We are number one, US." You understand what I'm saying? And as I got older, it built more and more. The only thing that brought it down a little was the Rodney King thing, because now we really saw what America really was. You understand? But where we still fell at was where? Because that one incident opened our eyes a creek, right? But what was the first thing that we said out of our mouths? Well, all of them not like that. You understand what I'm saying? All of them not like that. We can't hold all of them accountable. We gotta, you understand what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, what was the propaganda thing after that? It's something that everybody saw. Everybody saw. Remember Cops? And the show Cops, it showed cops in a good light. They never showed the bad stuff. They only showed, and this was the reason why that Cops came out, because of that Rodney King thing, right? So now we gotta paint a different picture. This is propaganda. This is propaganda at its highest. Why? Because we see. It's not something that we just only hear. It's not something that we only speak in. It's not just like pledging allegiance. We actually getting a visual. See, I told you, all of them not like that. Look at him. See what he did? You see he just helped him. You understand what I'm saying? This is propaganda. This is the very thing that destroys us. You understand? All of these mottos, you understand? All of these mottos we get caught up in. All of the propaganda, all of the sayings and everything makes us who we are today. We got us fighting against us. We fight against us so much that we don't even understand who our true enemy is because of all of the propaganda. When we look at these movies on TV, it always makes us the villain. We always get vilified. We always the drug dealer. We always the thief. We always the robber. We always the murderer. And who comes along and saves the day? Who comes along and saves the day?
Supposedly police
The
officer.
oppressor. You understand? Think about this. Remember that show Spencer for Hire? Remember Spencer for Hire? Who was Hawk?
Hawk was
The mean black dude.
Yeah.
The mean black dude.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And Spencer for Hire was always the one who was coming to save the day. Hawk did some good stuff. Go ahead.
That's part of psychological warfare.
That's that psychological warfare. You understand? You see what's going on? We're being destroyed psychologically by the sayings, by the mottos, and by the visuals. Everything that we get in America destroys us. The things that we see, the things that we hear. You understand? Pledging of allegiance. Whenever you pledge your allegiance, you taking your allegiance away from the people that need it the most. Your people. You pledge allegiance to a country who is hell bent on destroying us. Think about it, right? Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger in 19, I want to say 28, 1928.
In the 20s.
Matter of fact, before
It
we
might be
pull
early
the year, I
20s.
want to make sure I got it right because I got the letter in here. Margaret Sanger in 19, I want to say, what did you say, Kat? 28?
I'm about to get it. Damn, I might hold up.
Starting the eugenics program, right? Margaret Sanger started the Planned
60s,
Parenthood.
late 60s.
No. That's the late 60s. That's around when she died. She started.
My bad, yeah, my bad. She died.
1928. When she had W.E.B. Du Bois. Listen, she got the okay from W.E.B. Du Bois to legalize sterilization of black women.
1916.
1916.
First birth control clinic.
First birth control clinic in America, right? Not to exterminate her people, but to exterminate our people. Now, let's think about this, right?
It's like they don't. When you look her up, they don't never talk about the eugenics movement and the eugenics society.
Right.
They use other terms like birth control clinic. They
Right.
use other, but it's really
Planned.
all.
Think about the word. Think about the words Planned Parenthood. When you say Planned Parenthood, you think of planning to be a parent. You don't think about terminating a pregnancy. You understand what I'm saying? So the first thing you say, Planned Parenthood, oh yeah, we need that in our neighborhood. Well, why are Planned Parenthoods only in our neighborhoods? Why is it made so easily accessible to us? This was something started, you said in 1916, Kat?
That was her first clinic.
Her first clinic. But that letter that she wrote said that we have to go to black ministers, black politicians, and we have to go to black doctors. She was approved by W.E.B. Du Bois, and I have it in Medical Apartheid book that I have at home. When you read in there, he told her, this wasn't something that she came up with her in her own mind. He told her, you got to go to black politicians. You have to go to black doctors. You have to go to black ministers and talk them into talking the people into terminating pregnancies. If you didn't have a social status, if you didn't have a certain social status, as far as they were concerned, you were not, how do I say, you were not inclined to have children. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it, right? Our birth rate is high as a people anyway. My grandmother had 11 kids. Miss Mabel up the street had 13. You understand? I'm talking about my mama and my uncles and them in their generation. You understand? We naturally kick them out like that. You know what's funny though, right? People always say, well, how did 70 souls go into Egypt and come out? You understand? A multitude. Look how we reproduce. It's in us to do what we do. You understand? Not only that, we took care of our children. Ask me how my grandfather took care of 11 children off of one job. I had no idea. But the conditions that they create today and the propaganda that they put in our heads is that, listen, it's too hard to have kids right now. Take care of your career. Get a house, get a good job. You know, do this. Take care of your career before you think about that. You understand? This is how they make us dwindle. Go ahead, sis.
I know in school they'll say population control.
Population control is just that, Planned Parenthood. That is population control. And whose population are they controlling? So-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. You understand? We have to understand that everything that's put out here in front of our face is not for us. We have to understand that the things that we see, everything that we see, what's the saying that they use? Everything that glitters, what's that? Is or everything is not good. Everything is not gold. Everything that glitters is not gold. You understand what I'm saying? They do certain things to us to put us in certain situations. Now, what's the new propaganda? The visual propaganda. What we've been seeing for the last, let me say, 5 or 6 years. What's that new propaganda on TV? We all see it. As soon as you say it, you're like, oh yeah. What's the new propaganda?
Oh,
Go ahead.
always chanting at the protests.
Our women and oppressors. When you look at these movies now, it's always, I was just watching one last night, right? It's a sister messing with an oppressor.
Oh, you talking about the interracial?
Interracial,
Okay.
right? What does the Bible tell us? And what does it tell us in the Bible? Let's pull that, cat.
Deuteronomy 7 chapter.
Yeah.
Or you want to do one of the
7.
apocryphal?
Is that Deuteronomy 76? Deuteronomy 76.
73. 76 is the other part.
7 and 3?
That's where it started, I think.
Okay, let me make sure it's right. Let me make sure I got it right. There we go. You right, Cat. 7 and 3. Let's start it. Yep. Let's do Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3.
So I can grab that.
Let me know when everybody get there.
Okay.
Y'all there?
Book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3.
Hold on. Let's wait for the sisters to get that. Salakia. Yeah, chapter 7, verse 3.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Say that again.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Hey, listen, the scriptures tell us, neither shall thou make marriages with them. We should not intertwine ourselves with them. You understand? We should not make marriages. We shouldn't bring ourselves together with them. You understand? Go ahead.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
Say that again.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
You shouldn't give our daughters unto their sons. You understand? Because let him finish. Go ahead.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Nor shall we give our sons unto their daughters. You understand? Why shouldn't we do that? We can already get into it right here. Go ahead.
Verse 4, for they will turn away thy son from following me.
But we will turn ourselves away from following the Most High. This is the reason why we follow in America. The propaganda. You understand? I remember when I was young, our sisters didn't intermingle. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but it wasn't on the scale that it is today. It was a rare thing to see a sister with an oppressor. It was also a rare thing to see a brother with an oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? These things were, it was natural for us to say, we ain't doing that. You understand? Because we understood where we stood at with our oppressor. We understood where we were. You understand? For they will turn thy sons away from following. Listen, when you marry an oppressor and a situation arises, what side do you take? What side do you take?
If you marry a person,
Yeah.
well, you gonna go with your husband. If you don't want, you gonna go with your husband.
Let's look at it this way. Look at Clarence Thomas. The very person who used affirmative action is against affirmative action. Let's look at Ben Carson. The very person who used public housing is now against public housing. When you intermingle or intertwine yourself with the oppressor, all of this propaganda turns you away from your people, turns you away from what the Most High told us to do. Because when you go against your people, you're going against the Most High. You're going against his instruction. You're going against the law, statutes, and commandments. That's just the way it is. Listen, the thing about it, right, is it's plain and clear right here in the book. We reading it right here in the book. It's not something that we made up or created on our own or something to make people, oh yeah, you know what? That's your word. It's not our words, right? We just read this right here in the book. It says the book tells us when the Most High created the nations, he separated the nations. When you separate something and you put borders around something, why do you do that? To keep them separated. What was that? Was that the Tower of Babel where the nations came together to go against the Most High? Salaki said. Tower of Babel, right? See what happens when people come together, when nations intermingle and intertwine and intermarry? That's just naturally what happens. This is the reason why the Most High tells us not to intermarry, not to marry your daughters unto their sons, and not to marry your sons unto their daughters. Because it's no way, it's every think about it on a national scale of people that we know. Think about Terry Crews. He married an oppressor too. Terry Crews. No, Terry Crews is Big Damon. No, she's an oppressor. She's an oppressor. No, she's an oppressor. She's an oppressor. No, she's an oppressor. You understand? When you look at the thing, think about OJ. I ain't black, I'm OJ. You understand what I'm saying? Angela Davis. I mean, the list goes on. Think about it, right? Anytime that you see somebody, Cat, remember the day Remember the day we went to the we saw the sister at the Juneteenth thing, and she was with the oppressor,
Oh,
and we didn't know that they was together at first until we started talking to her and said, you know, you're not supposed to, and then all of a sudden she got real quiet
Right.
and walked the other way. You understand what I'm saying? How can
You said Angela Davis?
Angela Davis?
Angela Davis.
Ain't Angela Davis with a but
Yeah.
wasn't she with a
he's just a white woman.
a white woman? Yeah, she's with an oppressor woman
Now or then?
at that time. Think about it though, right?
Really?
Yeah,
The woman with the big ass.
the big afro, Angela Davis, Bush, Angela Davis. Yeah.
Wow.
See, we gotta understand. Think about it. Even with Martin Luther King, what Martin Luther King was with an oppressor. They told him he couldn't bring the oppressor along with him. That's why he got with Coretta Scott, because he wanted to bring her. But the movement wouldn't look right with her on his arm and not a sister. On the side, Martin Luther King played with the oppressor. You understand? Rosa Parks. Oh,
They use like decoy Rosa Parks.
Right.
Regular Rosa Parks is not yellow.
right. You know, that Rosa Parks thing, that was Claudette Colvin, the original. The story started with Claudette Colvin. Now, and this is where we destroyed as a people, propaganda, because it's always a white-black thing. Because Claudette Colvin was a 16-year-old girl, dark-skinned girl, they didn't think it would fly as much as being with a light-skinned sister or lighter, an older sister. Claudette Colvin is who it actually happened to. That sitting on the, think about it, right? How did, okay, all right, okay. If I'm not mistaken, Rosa Parks was she an attorney, or her original job was either an attorney assistant or something like that, right? But the actual situation happened to Claudette Colvin. Here we go, right here. Oh, look what I got. Okay. Rosa Parks. Before Rosa Parks, we are still caught up in hating our color and culture. Why do we hate our color and culture? Because of propaganda, because of psychological warfare. You understand what I'm saying? Psychologically, we hate this dark skin. We hate the color of our skin. We hate being dark. Think about, I don't want to get too far off, but think about what our sisters are doing to themselves today, lightening their skin. Think about Michael Jackson. Think about the things that's happening. Because we are made to believe that black is not in. White is right. You understand? Think about what's going on. I mean, look at the sisters up close. Long, straight hair, wigs, tearing their skin up. Them long eyelashes that come all the way out here, that used to be, first off, it started off in Egypt. That's an African thing. Our oppressors, women, took that on with the makeup all the way out here and the eyelashes all the way out there. Now look at our sisters today. Go ahead.
Sammy Sosa.
Oh my God, Sammy Sosa.
That nigga
man.
like a vampire.
Oh man, he looked like a milk bar now. It's terrible because he was dark as any one of us in here. Yeah, Sammy Sosa. We have destroyed. If you look at his elbows and his knees, it's funny. You understand? Because they still the same color. But we hate ourselves so much because of the psychological warfare, because of the propaganda, because of what we've been told, because of how it has been beaten into us. We've been destroyed as a people. I mean, we can go out, you can go out any day, you can go out at any time of the day and see everything that's happening to us in real time. Think about it, right? Claudette Colvin was arrested 9 months earlier in Alabama for not giving up her seat to a white woman. But they did not pursue her story because they felt like Claudette Colvin was not light enough. That's a real story. That's a real story. We are destroyed so much so that we ostracize our own people, even in the worst times. You understand? We destroyed as a people. The reason why we should not marry our daughters unto their sons and our sons unto their daughters, because we fall away from the truth. We fall away from what the Most High has told us. Listen, the scriptures tell us that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Kingdom of heaven is at hand. We have the control. We have the power to change our condition. You understand? We got the power to change our condition. Everything that America runs on is us. We run America, not Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on us. America has run on us since its inception. 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, came over here, took 1,100 Taino Indians back to wherever he took them to, and then 300 survived. Good business, make money, let's go back and do it again. Transatlantic slave trade, go over to the Americas, destroy the native Indians, the natives, destroy the Gadites, destroy their food source, give them what they gave them. What was the thing in the blankets?
That disease, there's something pox.
Smallpox.
Yeah.
You understand? And then say, this is Thanksgiving. Now think about it, right? When they came over, and this is more psychological warfare, more propaganda. They tell us that the natives helped the pilgrims get through the first winter, and after that, they had a Thanksgiving to celebrate and commemorate.
Well, okay, what was the point of telling children? What was the point of lying to children about Thanksgiving?
I'm getting ready to give it to you, right? The whole point in lying to children is that as they get older, then they lie to their children. Then their children lie to their children. Then you lie to your child. I lie to mine. Psychological warfare. And now we grow up believing that, oh yeah, it was a good time. We got through the first winter and we helped them get through. And now we're celebrating Thanksgiving. Pass the ham.
It's like, and then when you read a book, you get confused.
Then when you read a book, then you get confused. Like, hold up. That's not the way my teacher told me. That's not the way they say every year. Think about this, right? Listen, this thing is so horrible with the Thanksgiving. I'm glad you brought that up, Kat. It's so horrible with the Thanksgiving that they still have the Native American Indians bringing them a deer on Thanksgiving in Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken. They have to go out and hunt and get a deer and bring it to them in Massachusetts. They still make the Indians do that. That's not something that they want to do. Can you imagine? Think about this, right? They still make us celebrate our destruction, what we started off with, the labor union. We celebrate Labor Day every year, partying with the oppressor. We celebrating our own destruction. That's psychological warfare, if I ever seen it.
And look, they doing the same thing with slavery too. They calling it the Great What do they
The
call it?
transatlantic slave
There you go.
the transatlantic migration.
God damn.
So, listen,
It's
you see everybody see the Bible, right?
they're helping downstairs. So
Everybody see the Bible.
office.
Can you imagine this Bible being written at the time you were living? This,
The
can you
officer
imagine that?
downstairs needs to know a police
Well, we sitting right here. We sitting watching history being whitewashed. The history that we lived through being whitewashed right in front of our eyes. We all know about slavery, right or wrong. Now they're whitewashing history so that your children's children are going to believe that they migrated here to live a better life. Not that they were brought here as slaves. And listen, the scriptures tell us what? The scriptures tell us that we have to remember the days of old. We're going to get into that too. But the scriptures tell us that we have to remember the days of old because the Most High knew what these oppressors were capable of. Whitewashing history right here before our very eyes. Think about it, right? We are actually living out the Bible as we speak. We're living in Babylon right now. We're living in Sodom and Gomorrah right now. Think about the history of Babylon. Everybody coming together in one big melting pot. That's America. Think about Sodom and Gomorrah. Think about the immorality that was in Sodom and Gomorrah. Think about the laws that they passed in America. They're actually trying to pass laws now to lower the pedophilia law. Think about it, right? If that's not Sodom and Gomorrah, they're making life easier for sodomites and making it harder for us because of this. Listen, think about it, right? You say anything wrong or bad about a sodomite, you can be arrested damn near if you say the wrong thing, right? But they can say what they want to say about you and your way of living. Your way of living is wrong. They're teaching our children right now as we speak that it's okay to be LGBTQ. There's nothing wrong with it. When the Bible tells us there's everything wrong with it. You understand what I'm saying?
I know,
Go ahead, sis.
but I know, now on applications and, online surveys and stuff like that, when they do the gender part, it's just not female and male no more.
Right.
It's female slash something slash something. I'm like, what?
Right.
And then they have other as the last choice.
Right.
I'm like, so which one do I pick?
Or do you want to identify as nothing?
Right, like,
How can you identify as nothing? You got to be something, right?
like at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I don't know.
Think about this, right? Like I said before, we living right now in one of the most important times in history. We are actually watching history be whitewashed. We watching history be whitewashed. The transatlantic migration, that was an illegal slave trade. But my children's children, your children's children are never going to know this part of history if we don't tell them. The scriptures tell us, remember the days of old. We have to remember these things and we have to hand them down to our children, to our children's children, We can listen, we got shirts that say never forget. We can never forget the trauma that we've been put through. Because once you forget that trauma, then you tend to repeat it. Once something happens and you don't remember that it happened, it's going to happen again. Think about the George Floyd. How many brothers have been murdered since George Floyd? See how easily we forget? We forget who our enemy is. Trust not thine enemy. That's what the scriptures tell us. We keep trusting in the very people that are set out to destroy us. It's a psychological warfare. You understand? All of these things, all of these symbols, all of these mottos, all of these visuals that we get are set to destroy us. This is the reason why we have schools like this. This is the reason why the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is so important to us. To give us an understanding. You understand? To give us true understanding. Let's do this. Think about that Alabama bus boycott. Remember that? Alabama bus boycott started December 5th, 1955, lasted till December 20th, 1956. The best thing that could have ever happened. Stuttered and stalled. Why did it stutter and stall? What happened?
No.
Mhm.
So basically, the transportation system is losing money.
There you go.
Like we made up most of, or not most, but all of the riders.
It's just about 70%.
Right.
Right?
So if they were losing money.
But remember this, it didn't just happen in Alabama. It happened all around the country. The bus boycott happened all around the country. It just started in Alabama. And because think about it, right? They're not going to stop. They're not going to let black people ride on the front of the bus just because one state can't control their Negroes. You understand what I'm saying? Just because they can't control their Negroes. It happened all around the country. And they began to lose money. Where we messed up at, because that showed you that the economy was run by us. Where we messed up at was we should have taken that money and started our own bus companies. But oh, wait, we did have our own bus companies. But because we wanted to sit on the oppressors' buses, we wanted to be on the oppressors' buses. We wanted to sit at the front of the oppressors' buses. We gave up all of our own buses. Propaganda, psychological warfare. Psychological warfare is what they got is better than ours. So let's do this. Let's give up all of our restaurants. Let's give up all of our stores. Let's give up our department stores. It's better to eat at an oppressor's restaurant than to eat at our restaurant. Fast forward to 2024. What do we have? What do we have?
So
We ain't got nothing.
oh,
Psychological warfare. Think about this, right? You got soul food restaurants here and there. It's not enough to drive a nation on. That one soul food restaurant is just enough to feed that one family. Macy's is enough to feed a nation. You understand what I'm saying? What's that? McDonald's is enough to feed a nation. Walmart is enough to feed a nation. The little things that we got is just enough to feed ourselves. Go ahead, sis.
Slovakia, like as far as the soul food restaurants and stuff, they're being run by the Chinese. We're not even running them, but they're selling us soul food.
We talking about the exactly. You're right about that, sis. But that little listen, think about this. That 0.1% that we do have. We've been destroyed so much that sometimes it's almost not even worth going to those. Because we feel like, because I'm almost one of the only ones, I can do what I want. I can treat my people how I want. Have you ever noticed how our people treat our people really, really bad, but when the oppressor comes along, they treat them like gold? That's psychological warfare. That's psychological warfare. That's being destroyed. Because think about it. When the oppressor was the only one who had, he treated us like garbage, but he treated his own like gold. That's how it's supposed to be. Now, I'm not saying for us to go out there and treat the oppressor like garbage, but we're supposed to treat our own like gold. And if anybody's supposed to be the dirt, should be them. You understand what I'm saying? Psychologically, we are destroyed as a people. I said it earlier, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We have the power to change our own condition. Psychological warfare is nothing to get away from. Just all it takes is a wipe of the eyes, a drop of understanding, a little bit of knowledge. Where did we get that from? Right here from out of the Bible. You feel me? Right out of the Bible. Think about this too, right? Now we're going to go into a little bit of symbolism. Anybody got $1, quarter, nickel in their pocket? What's your dollar say on it? God we trust.
Front with a bet.
In God we trust. Got a nickel? Got a quarter? Anybody got some change? Pull a change out your pocket. Pull a quarter out. Pull a quarter out. Pull a nickel out. Somebody grab a nickel. Just get a nickel. What does it say on it? What does it say?
On the front it says liberty.
What does it say?
On the front it says liberty. And in God we trust.
And what does it say on the back side?
And on the back it says United States of America.
Do you see some words that it say it again?
I don't know how to say for Lord,
It say E pluribus.
yeah.
What does that mean? Nobody know what that means? Look, listen, think about it, right? We carry this stuff around in our pockets all day long and never think to understand what this stuff means. It says E pluribus unum, right? It describes an action. Now, what that means is many uniting into one. An accurate translation of the motto is from many one, or out of many one. It's a phrase that captures the symbolism of the shield, right? On that nickel, what is that nickel? What does that nickel say under it? Yeah, on the nickel. What does it say? Montebello? Montebellum, something like that.
Oh, on the back.
Yeah.
United States Monticello.
Monticello, right? You know what Monticello is?
Monticello.
Monticello, what is it?
Where Thomas Jefferson used to be. Yeah.
The biggest plantation in the United States. It got you carrying around symbol of a plantation in your pocket.
And that's the plantation.
That's a plantation right there. When I was young, you know what I always thought that was? I thought that was the White House or the Capitol.
Yeah.
You understand? It's a plantation house, right? They got you carrying your home, a picture of your home in your pocket. Remember where you came from. This is the things this is what we don't do. You understand? Go ahead.
If I could, sir, I got something even crazier than that.
Go
If
ahead.
I could, I'll show you though. If I could.
What you got?
All right, so before the dollar bill right here, you might not be able to see it tonight.
What you talking about? The owl?
It's not the owl. It's just crazier than the owl.
What's that?
So you see that piece right there?
Oh, you talking about right there? Oh, that right there. Oh, okay.
But no, that's why we say so-called customs devil.
Right.
Look where the arrows come. The arrows.
Is that what it is?
Exactly. Look.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's if you marry images together.
Right.
That's crazy.
But understand this though, right? Listen. We're gonna go in a different direction. Understand this, right? Now we understood the symbolism, right? We see the slave plantation, right? Now understand this. So the motto's purpose is to express the theme of a seal or imagery, especially that of the shield, right? Now we get ready to go through it. The center section of this shield has 6 symbols for the countries from which these states have been peopled, meaning the United States.
When you say the shield, what shield are you talking about?
That money that you got in your hand,
Oh, okay.
you understand? Think about it, right? The countries from which these states have been peopled. The people that make up these states are from these countries. Now you have the rose on there, right? The rose stands for England, of course, right? The English came over here and settled, right? That's what we've always heard, right? Then you have the thistle. What's the thistle? This thistle represents Scotland, right? The thistle represents Scotland. The harp represents Ireland. The fleur de lis. You know that little symbol that comes out like this with the thing at it like this, and then it comes and hooks like that? You ever seen that?
Like a little eagle or something.
You seen the New Orleans Saints, right? That symbol, that's a fleur de lis, right? That's for France. Think about it, right? When you go to New Orleans, what do they say you at? What's the French quarters? That symbol represents France. It's on the money. That symbol's on there. The thistle's on there, which represents Scotland. The rose is on there, which represents England. The harp is on there, which represents Ireland. The lion on your money, that you see the lion, that represents Holland. And the imperial eagle represents Germany. All of these countries make up those nations of people that came over here and settled on this country. Remember, United States muscled all of that country that those other countries had, muscled that those parts of the United States from them. This is the reason why when these people take these DNA tests and they say, oh, you got some Ireland, you got some Scotland, or you got some German in you, because those are the countries that make up the Europeans in the United States. Those are the countries that had a foothold on the United States before the United States became the United States. We have to understand that these nations, think about it, right? Now we're going to go to Psalms 83. Psalms 83, and we're going to go to verse, let's do this. Let's start at verse 2.
Come on, come. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 2.
You there, sis? Okay, go ahead.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
Hey, listen, our enemies make a tumultuous noise. Anytime we stand up, anytime we start speaking for ourselves, anytime we start making a noise or a move, our enemies make a tumult, a tumultuous noise. You understand? Go ahead.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Verse 3.
Slide. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
Listen, this propaganda that we're looking at today, all this symbolism, all these mottos and things like that, this is the crafty counsel. You understand? They have taken crafty counsel against us. Listen, the United Nations come together. Think about it. How can you get a bunch of nations that hate each other to come together as the United Nations? They have taken crafty counsel against us. This is what they do when they sit up in the United Nations. Think about it, right? We are the only people who are not represented in the United Nations. And I'm talking about the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. We're the only people that are not represented in the United Nations. Think about it. Africa has 52 nations and are represented by all 52 nations. None of those nations, if we are so-called from Africa, why does none of those nations stand up for us? Because they have taken crafty counsel against us. Everything that we're going through in America, all of these nations come over here, all of these Asians, all of these Afghans and Arabs, all of these Ukrainians, everybody comes over here and steps over us. They have taken crafty counsel. They know that if they come over here, they can experience the American reality. We have been promised an American dream. The only time we get to experience that dream is in our sleep. When we wake up, we experience the American nightmare. You understand what I'm saying? They have taken crafty counsel against us. Go ahead.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? We are. We are the only people on this earth who do not know our true identity. African Americans, Negroes, niggers, wetbacks, Hispanics, we everything. You understand what I'm saying? We every proverb and byword. These are bywords. These are names that have been given to us. African American was given to us by Jesse Jackson. Afro-American, Negroes, Black. Think about it, right? Every people say, I am Asian. I'm from Asia. I'm European. I'm from Europe. Well, if we Black, where is Black at? Think about it. We have been called that. Where's Negro at? Where's nigger at? Where's Afro-America at? How can you be named after two different places? How can you be a descendant of two different places? Psychological warfare. Because the more names that we give you, the further and further away you're going to be from your real culture. the more names that they call. Think about it, right? We get challenged on everything that we believe we are, right? We say we are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. How is that? How is that? Right? We get questioned on that, right? But think about this. Nobody ever thought to ask the so-called Jewish man, which we all know Europeans never ever came from the Middle East. But they can call themselves Jew and never be questioned. Never be questioned. But we get questioned. We're the only people who don't know where we're from, but we're the very people that know that they don't belong. That's identity theft. Whenever we say this is who we are, we get backlash. They say that's who we are, and they get no kickback. Nobody never even questions. Think about it, right? They say they speak Yiddish, right? That's a mixture of Polish and Germanic language, right? If they are the descendants of those people and they speak Yiddish, think about it, right? The Polish dialect didn't come about until the 2nd century. The Germanic dialect didn't come about until the 3rd century. How could they possibly be descendants of people from biblical times 4,000 years ago? How is it possible? How? We get questioned about everything when we get closer to the truth. They live a whole living lie. Nobody ever questions anything about them. Psychological warfare. So much so that we know that they don't belong there, but we won't question it. That's psychologically damaged. We destroyed as a people, and we continually let these nations of people continually destroy us, knowing who we are. It's the symbolisms, the mottos, it's the propaganda. But we got the book right here to prove who we are. This is the reason why these schools are growing like they are, because the truth is being revealed. You understand? And like I said, we live in an important time right now because we're sitting right here watching our oppressor whitewash history. Transatlantic slave. I keep saying it. Because I'm so used to saying transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic migration. This is what they're trying to call it. They're trying to get the history books changed for schools. They want to get, think about it, right? They want to get, what's the thing that they was fighting for? What's the thing they was fighting about 2 years ago, started 2 years ago?
Critical race.
Critical race theory. What is critical race theory?
Telling the truth.
The truth. When you are a thief, when you are a liar, when you are a murderer, the last thing you want to happen is the truth to come out. Right? So in order for the truth not to come out, let's do what we did in the Dark Ages. After the Dark Ages was up and the Renaissance happened, they whitewashed the Dark Ages. So we're having a whitewash period right now. We're actually sitting in history right now. Go ahead.
The term is iconoclasm.
Say it again.
It's iconoclasm. That's the term.
Iconoclasm?
Iconoclasm.
Okay, you just added something to my iconoclasm. You're gonna have to text me that one. I'm gonna have to use that one. You understand what I'm saying? But we sitting right here, and I didn't really think about it till a few months ago when it really started taking traction, that we sitting right here in history watching a certain thing that happened in the Bible happen all over again. You understand? History was whitewashed in the Bible, and it's being done again. Taking certain things out, putting certain things in. Eventually, our great grandchildren are going to think we came over here because we wanted to live, we wanted to experience a better life. Right now, we know, and this is the reason why it's important for us to tell our children. You understand? And I know I said it a few times, but you can't say it too much. Is that we have to remember the days of old. We have to remind our children. We have to tell our children. What's that book called? Tell the Children Our Story. What's that? That's the one, Captain Mama Quad, right? Am I saying that right, Captain?
Captain Malquad.
Yeah, that was a story about his family, right? Tell the children our story. Something I can't remember the name.
About his mother or his grandmother, something like
His
that.
grandmother,
Yeah.
right? You understand? And it's important. It's important that we get that book. It's important that we write our own stories. It's important that we write down our history. It's important that we write down the things that have happened to us to pass it down. You understand? Because like I said, right now we living in history. Everything around us that our oppressor creates is created to dig us deeper and deeper into the hole that we're already in. This Bible brings us out of that hole. If I'm not mistaken, didn't they say a few weeks ago that a couple of pastors want to go in and change some stuff in the Bible now? Did you hear that? Y'all hear that?
I heard that.
That they want to change some of the dialect in the Bible permanently. You understand? History is being whitewashed as we speak. Listen, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. You understand? Let's grab Isaiah chapter 30.
I'm gonna read it, though. I gotta run.
Come.
30.
30 and 1. We're gonna start at 1. Don't run too fast. Between the redlining, the gentrification, and everything else that's going on with us, it ain't looking too good.
Right.
If you ain't in this Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, it ain't looking too good. It's business as usual out there in them streets. Go ahead, sis.
And if I may add, sir, even how they're trying to make, us turn against our men as far as taking them, get on child support to receive any type of benefits from the state. We have to put them on child support, which they can lock them up and everything. It's a lot.
Listen, that's more psychological warfare. That's more propaganda. Listen, I've been through it. You understand? What does child support have to do with your license? Think about it, right? You get behind in a couple of child support payments, they come in to lock you up. But I defaulted on a $5,000 credit card, and it was nothing.
If I could, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Touch on another point, right? So I went to circuit court earlier.
Right.
Filed for a motion dismissal of mine. So basically, Minnesota Supreme Court ruled that child support is unconstitutional.
Right.
Right. And they said that family court don't have no problem with cubs. Sometimes so I went to file for a motion. I had to do a certificate of service. Sometimes so I get my decision for days, but I ain't ready to do it.
Yeah, but see, think about it, right? Just like we said before, if these states were united, the laws would be the same in every state, right?
Right.
But it ain't. How do you have what do they call a state? A commonwealth state?
Commonwealth, yeah, that's like.
How you gonna be a commonwealth state and other states be regular? You understand? Laws that apply here don't apply there. You pay taxes here, but you don't pay taxes there. How united is that? You understand what I'm saying? This is a what do they call it? This is a what they call it? It's a clown court. We live in a clown court, but we being oppressed by people with the mentality of children. You understand what I'm saying? People who poison the same water that they have to drink, poison the same food that they gotta eat. You understand? Go ahead.
I'm saying if I could, they got to touch on your point, they got a movie coming out in June, July called Civil War. It's about a couple of states seceding from the Union. Real good.
Right.
That's good for you later.
Go ahead.
It's Isaiah 30:1. Say, woe to the rebellious children.
You say, woe to the rebellious children. That's us. Woe to the rebellious children. The children that follows America, these are the rebellious children. The children that look up to the Pledge of Allegiance, the ones that live by that, God bless America, these are the rebellious children. Right here in the ISUPK, we are not those children. You understand? Go ahead.
Said the Lord. Take counsel, but not of me.
That take counsel what?
But not of me.
That take counsel, but not of the Most High. You understand? We take counsel from everybody but the Most High. We take a lot of counsel from our oppressor. You understand? We taking counsel. You take counsel every time you go out and vote and put an oppressor over your head. We take counsel. The Most High did not tell us to do that. We are not supposed to elect anybody and put anybody over us that the Most High did not choose. These are the things we do. This is the counsel that we take, but not of the Most High. Go ahead.
But not of me, that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit.
It says, but cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. What does that mean? Believing in that democratic system, covering in a covering, but not of him. You understand? Being a Democrat or Republican, taking one side or the other. You understand? Go ahead.
That they may add sin to sin.
That they may add sin to sin. How do you add sin to sin? How do you add sin to sin? Go ahead.
I continue on it.
To continue. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a snowball.
Yeah. You understand? Every time you turn around, you voting for this person, you voting for that person, somebody that the Most High did not pick. Anytime you voting on, think about it, right? Voting on laws that go directly against the Most High, adding sin to sin. You voting and then you voting for LGBTQ. You understand? Adding sin to sin. These are the things that we do. This is how destroyed we are. You understand? That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked of my mouth. You understand? We follow America into everything that America does. We destroyed as a people. You understand? To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. To strengthen themselves, and we strengthen ourselves in America, but America turns her back on us. We join America's armed forces. You understand? We fight for America. Every war that America has had, we have been on the front lines. We have been pushed into the front lines. We are always the first ones to die in America's war. What was that one? Crispus Attucks. What was that? The Boston Tea Party? He was the first person to die in that. Was that Crispus Attucks?
I'm not sure. No.
He was the first one to die in some war that they had. You understand? We always the first ones to die. And the last ones to be repaid. That's if it happens. We never get repaid. We never get paid for our services. Think about this, right? You got Afghans You got Afghans that did a couple of years of work for America in Afghanistan and come back over here and live in the lavish life. We've been fighting for almost 500 years for America, and we have not received anything. We're destroyed as a people. We have to be destroyed to continually follow America and her ways. You understand? To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. To trust in the shadow, to trust in her constitution, to trust in her laws. You understand? When they have created laws to destroy us, we walking in the shadows, thinking that we're going to be protected. Think about the brothers that came home from World War I in their uniforms and got hung, trusting in the shadow, trusting in the philosophy, trusting in the customs and culture of America. If we party and we celebrate this Christmas with them, they're going to love us more and more. We destroyed as a people. This is the psychological warfare. Think about it. Every time we step out there and say, I'm going to do this for America. I'm going to do this so that to make America great again. You know, we got brothers and sisters that's out there saying we're going to make America great again. And I mean on the side of America. When was America ever great? For the Europeans, guy. You understand what I'm saying? We've never seen that. Just like you said, sis, we never seen that. Time that America will be great again is when Christ returns. When Christ returns and destroys our enemies. Matter of fact, let's grab my favorite scripture. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let's take it. Listen, think about all the redlining and gentrification and all the things that we go through every day. Everything that they do to us is psychologically damaging to us. Redlining, you go into a bank, right? You go into a bank, you try to get a loan, and they say, well, where are you trying to move at? And they say, I'm trying to move to the 215. Shoot, we don't have enough money for you to move there, but if you decide to move here, we can give you a loan for that. You understand? Send you into a bad neighborhood. You understand? Reserve that for themselves. You understand? Redlining, gentrification. You live in a great neighborhood right now. They raise your taxes, tell you owe a $3,000 water bill. If it ain't paid in 30 days, then we're going to have to take your property from you. Gentrification. You understand? This is the psychological warfare that we go through. This is how destroyed we are. We give up everything that we own to live amongst our oppressor, only to be kicked out, to be robbed. You understand? We talked about that earlier. Think about this, Ro. 40 acres and a mule, right? That was the promise after the emancipation. Every family would get 40 acres and a mule. He said about 30,000 people got land, and it wasn't 40 acres. It was about a plot of land, maybe an acre and a half. You understand? 30,000 out of 4 million. That's a drop in the bucket. We look at that and say, well, some people did get it. No, that's a drop in the bucket. That's the sweat off the side of a bottle. You understand what I'm saying? We destroy. We throw away our opportunities. We don't take advantage. What advantage of what? Psychologically, we destroy to think that we have advantages, that we have an opportunity for anything. You understand what I'm saying? We destroyed to even think that we got an opportunity. This is the reason why we listen. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourself together. Ye gather together, O nation not desired. We have to understand that we are a nation of people that are not desired. And being a nation of people that are not desired, we have to understand that these opportunities will never come our way if we are not together. The only way we're gonna make opportunities if we come together. You understand? Let's grab that. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3.
Second Thessalonians.
Cat,
chapter 2,
you do what you got. I got it.
verse 3. I got it.
You sure? Okay.
Let no man deceive you.
Let no man listen. And this is the deception right here, right? All of the propaganda, all of the psychological warfare, all of these mottos and themes and things like that, the things that they say to us that get embedded in our minds that make us think that we are a part of this society. We have to understand that we are not a part of this society. Our society, you can be in a society but not be of that society. You understand what I'm saying? Just like we are in America, but we are not a part of America. We understand that being in the ISUPK, Israelite School of Universal Practical, now under Commanding General Yohanan. You understand what I'm saying? We understand where we stand. We know the propaganda. We understand that we are a nation of people that are not desired. And because we are not desired, we have to gather together with our own people and make our own way. You understand? Go ahead, Cap. Let no man deceive you by any means. We got to stop falling for the propaganda. We got to stop falling for the psychological warfare. You understand? We got to stop joining in that society. Go ahead, Cap.
By any means, for that day shall not come.
What day is that? What day is that? That day that Christ returns to destroy our enemy. You understand? There's going to come a day where everything that's happening to our people is going to have to be repaid. You understand? Not by our hand, but by the Most High in Christ. You understand? These people are going to have to pay for all of the hell that they took us through, all of the destruction and the destroying that they have done to us. Look at us. Look how we living. You understand? When we want to live, think about how much we have to give up to live what people call the good life. You understand? We have to live amongst the oppressor, but living amongst the oppressor, we have to be psychologically destroyed by the things that they say to us, the things that they do to us, the injustices that we never get justice for. You understand? Think about it. That day shall not come. Go ahead.
Except there come a falling away first.
And listen, except there come a falling away first. Falling away from what? Falling away from the psychological warfare. Falling away from the customs and cultures of America. Think about it, right? How many of our brothers and sisters went into debt celebrating Christmas and New Year's, Thanksgiving and all of that? Think about that in succession, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and about to be destroyed by Valentine's Day. Think about it. The psychological part is America's telling you this is the day that you celebrate the one you love. We got 364 other days, but this is the day that you celebrate. That's psychologically destroyed. When you only celebrate the one you love that one day. And all the rest of the days you trying to make up for what you spent and all the things that you went out. And every week you could do a little something here, a little something there. You understand? And your woman or your man would appreciate you. You understand? Think about it, right? I'm gonna ask us sisters, right? Would you want something done for you once a year or a little something done for you once a month? Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? Once, think about it though, right? One, 12 times it sounds better than one time, right? But if you don't do something for that one time, if a brother don't get something or a sister don't get something that one time, they all hell breaking loose. You understand what I'm saying? All hell breaking loose. Next thing you know, your house is in an uproar. Next thing you know, y'all done broke up. Next thing you know, you end up in child support. License gone. He's locked up. Yeah. Now here we go. There you go. You feel me? It's a snowball. Cap said it earlier. It's a snowball effect. You understand? It rolls into something more and more and more. One day can land a brother in jail or murdered. That's crazy. You know, think about it, right? A whole family destroyed from one day. Go ahead, Cap.
Come,
This is gonna be it right here.
come. And that man of sin be revealed.
And that man of sin, think about it. They ain't say a spirit, they ain't say a ghost, they ain't say a devil. They said a man of sin be revealed. That man of sin be revealed. It's a man. It's our oppressor. Our oppressor has to be revealed, and every day he's being revealed more and more. I mean, think about, look at the outlandish laws. Men marrying men, women marrying women. Who could create a law like that? But that man of sin. Anything that goes against what the Bible says is sin. And he is the man of sin. Go ahead, Cat. That son
The son
of
perdition.
the son of destruction. Who's destroying people all around this earth? We know who it is. Even though we don't take sides in what's that, the Hamas and Israel or whatever. But who's destroying Hamas? You understand what I'm saying? Who's destroying? Well, they the same people anyway. Who's destroying the Ukrainians? The Ukrainians, the Russians, and all the same people. You understand? These are the sons of perdition, the sons of destruction. These are the people who goes against our very existence. You understand what I'm saying? We got to come together. We got to be on our side. We can't be separated. Listen, think about it, right? All of these nations, they come together. They hate each other, but they come together under one consent because they know if they keep us where we are right now or where most of our people are right now, they benefit. They have consulted together with one consent. They understand that their power lies in us being against the Most High, being at odds with the Most High, being in iniquity, being in sin with the Most High, causes everybody else to prosper. And as long as they prosper, they gonna prosper as long as we on the bottom. You understand? That with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. We are the greatest people to ever walk the face of this earth, and the Bible identifies us as the true biblical Jews. And with that, turn the class over to priest, Captain Supply. Yeah, I hate Captain stuff.
Excellent class once again. Clap it up for the brother. We got an ISUPK out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Junior Hunter. The rules for brothers and sisters: when a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits. For 6 months, they are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21 and Malachi 3:8-10. It means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced Ma'ashura. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. We got Purim in what is it, 22nd and the 23rd.
Con.
Lamont, Akin, and Aquath, to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. And of course, we got the chili in Baltimore this Saturday. So I say make sure you're in attendance. All right. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he needs to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or war scarf. With that, man of Israel Mayim, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Man of Israel Mayim Shabbat, Mayim, Barak, Yahaba Shem Yashar Balatah,
Yahaba Shem Yahweh
and Matah, Sergeant Stern. Mayim sisters, which we stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Man of Israel Mayim Shabbat, Mayim, Barak, Yahweh Shema Atam Ba'Shem Yahushua. That is Matah. Dismissed.